Welcome back, witches, vampires, and humans of all ages. We are back for Interview with the Vampire, Episode 3, Mad Fool Review. Of course, this is Raves and Rants with a Mad Fool. I am the Mad Fool. And this is Episode 3. It is picking up. There's a lot. There's a lot here. We're gonna have to go into this. And let's get right into it. 46 minutes is my very nature, that of the devil. It seems to me, and again, I have not read the books, but it seems to me these lines, these titles, I would assume, just listening to them and the fact that each line is spoken in the show, that these are lines from the book. I'm just going to put it out there. You know? Put it out there. I don't know. Somebody tell me. Leave a comment if you're a book reader and love these books. And I still have not, but I will read them soon, absolutely, after this. Oh. So the three scenes, we're down to the three scenes. One of my favorites, of course, Fenwick at the end. Let's just call it Fenwick at the end. Yeah. And Louis and Raydon Chung. Raydon Chung basically calls him a devil. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. So, witches, vampires, humans of all ages. I have noticed that sometimes what I do is I talk mostly about every scene, but I don't get really in depth about the three scenes. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to roll past everything, get to those three scenes, and we're going to talk about them because those, I think, are the best, the ones where we can find, some reasoning in, and amazing acting. Now, there is news, of course, season 2. We all know it's a go, but it has been said, actually, by Jacob Anderson, that Lestat will rise again. Lestat will rise again. We know that. Lestat will rise again. Of course, I'm not giving anything away, witches, vampires. If you've seen the movie, listen, if you haven't read the books and you haven't seen the movie and then you're watching, if the TV show is the first time that you are hearing about this amazing story, then you're a little late to the game. I'm sorry. Look, I do spoilers. I get in depth, so turn away now. But if you'd like to join me, please stay. Thank you. Hit that like, subscribe button, comments, of course. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. Tell me what I'm doing right. Tell me how I can change. Again, we're putting in a little change right now with the three scenes. So again, roll right through it. So we start off. Lestat is very happy. Lestat is reading his little book. They're in the square. Beautiful square, by the way, in New Orleans. And then, of course, Louis with his comment of heads on a pike. Believe it or not, you get the sense of, okay, well, he's right. This is the truth. But that's also not Lestat's fault. Lestat's trying to enjoy himself. And then we literally get into this idea of an enjoyment, really, because he asks, where are we from? Who made us and what's our purpose? And Lestat, his makers, basically says, I made you. Your purpose is to enjoy yourself. I gave you immortality, guy. I gave you the dark gift, okay? You can read minds. You can do some stuff, okay? I gave you the gift. I'm telling you, just enjoy yourself. Louis can't. And there's reasons why. So I'm not going to be that hard on Louis. If this was the movie, I'd be hard on Louis. But I understand a little bit more, especially because they've made this character, again, African-American. And you can, even with the heads on a pike, you're like, of course. I mean, it was all true. All these atrocities, they happened. So, but then Louis gets into, hey, can we be more selective of the people that we eat? Okay, whatever. Lestat's open to it, even though he's telling him, it's not really great for hunting because it's like leg irons. You lose the instinct. It's, he's trying to say in so many words, look, guy, we're animals. We are animals. And to begin with, human beings are animals. So don't get anything in a bunch. So, I see, of course, the Morbius effect. He wants to go ahead. Morbius, if you haven't read, is a comic book by Marvel. And it's the vampire that only eats bad guys. I mean, not only. He's eaten some other people. But that's his thing. That's what makes him keep going. And then we go, and Lestat is actually going to try it. Why not? Lestat loves Louis. Loves Louis to the point where, okay, let's try it. They finally find someone. And I say finally because it didn't take that long. They can read minds. Lestat goes, prepares the meal, and there's this gentleman slowly dying. Yes, we're talking about a person slowly dying on a TV show that's fantasy. Yes, we're going to talk about it. The guy is slowly dying. He's bleeding everywhere. Lestat's like, go right ahead. Why not? It's a meal. You got to eat. And Louis, I don't understand this. I really don't. Because now you've found a person that, in your opinion, is eligible, worthy of being eaten by you and death by you. But you eat the cat. Dude, why did you eat the cat, guy? You didn't even try it. Lestat was into it. He wants you to eat because he wants you to be better, have more. Literally in this episode, we go into the fact that Louis, there's a line about the whole decade being a blur. Most of that I'm going to say is because you weren't eating what you needed to eat. I'm just going to say it. So, you're a vampire, So they find that person, and then we get the jelly roll scene, and they're back at the club. They're back at the Azalea. Lestat's like, hey, I can pretend the fool if you want to pretend, you're not a vampire, not a killer. Reminds me so much of, if anyone's seen Swingers, that beautiful Vince Vaughn scene. Vince Vaughn is trying to tell Jon Favreau, one of his good friends, how do you not know how to kill the bunny with these claws? How do you not know? Come on. So moving right ahead, this is one of the scenes, Jelly Roll. So we're going to get into this because a lot happens. The Wolverine Blues. Malloy calls BS. We go into, why are you telling me one thing when you told me 40, 50 years back something else? He brings out not only the tapes for visual, but then he brings out literally, he started on the computer. He plays exactly what was said. And by the way, this is probably maybe from the book. I'm not sure. But, he's questioning, and he's doing what a good interviewer does. He's calling BS. Was it this gothic romance? Was it all the, And you have to understand, there is more to this here. There is more. Let the tale seduce you. Can't remember if that's what he said, but this is one of his lines. And enjoy the Odyssey. Let me have my Odyssey. But the jelly roll thing was interesting because Lestat's very capable. He doesn't really even need his powers. And one thing about the powers that I've noticed is that when they are controlling someone with their minds, because Lestat can do that, they're doing it on the feeble-minded or someone that's been drinking. Yeah, it has to be someone that the mental acuity is not there. And you see this. I don't know if that's explained in the books, but that's what I've taken from what I've seen in the TV series. Wolverine Blues, I've never heard of it. I don't know what to say. So it looks like I love this line by Malloy about Ken Burns can choke on the the notes. Ken Burns, great documentarian. But then we go to Bad Daddy. And we're introduced for the first time. Well, not the first time, actually. The second time to the singer. And her and Lestat have been keeping the azalea floating with music because Jelly Roll left. Jelly Roll, by the way, I believe was a real person. Now, Lestat wants to enjoy himself. Louis wants to read a book. Lestat wants Louis to join in. This is actually not about sex. I mean, he's having fun with his food as usual, but this isn't about sex, which is weird to me because this was a pivotal scene. I mean, even Louis says it. He let this happen. He didn't have energy to do the things that normally he could do. The aren't I enough? Then we move into aren't I enough? And I'm sorry. It made me laugh as well. And some of you are going to say, wow, how could you? But you have to understand, this is my perspective. So, Louis is asking Lestat, who's basically chosen him to be his companion for all of eternity. You know, as long as they live, which is a long time. So, I mean, are you really asking, guy? Seriously? You're asking because you thought it was something else because he didn't eat her. I want to be very clear about this because Lestat, didn't eat her. Later, we see something, and it's a scene, of course, Lestat and Louis, and I think one of the reasons that Lestat is also angry is because Louis did not eat said other person. Because Lestat goes into, of course you can enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself. I will enjoy myself in time to time. It's a long road, guys. It's a long road. I understand this. If people don't understand this, it's fine, you know? You don't have to, but that's my thought. Now, the whole jealous thing, he says, nah, I'm not going to get jealous. You know, I understand, Louis. I do. Now, there's this great scene with the poker, and then we move into the Jimmy hats. He's going to make sure those Jimmy hats get used because the president says the sex worker or the war. Well, you can come to my place. Enjoy. Jonah shows up, so apparently we have Jonah. It is an older, let's say, person from Louis' life. An old acquaintance, let's say. And Jonah says something that I'm astounded with because he says that, hey, I went by your old house. I talked to Grace. I met the twins. Louis has like a thing like he can't remember. You can't remember that your sister has twins? You sound like, again, you're showing me, Louis, that you don't pay attention to things. Not even the people in your life before Lestat that you love, you know? I'm calling it. So Jonah shows up, okay, so you've got these moonlight scene. And the moonlight scene goes in, and, you know, one of the things that Malloy brings up is the shoes. I want to bring up the mud in the shoes, because, so Louis is telling us a story, the directors, producers, everybody is showing us this story, but Malloy has a question about the story, basically, because if Louis basically had to tell him about the shoes, had to basically say, I caught some shoes, you know, and the shoes, they were muddy. Why did you say that, Louis? Why did you say that? And then why is it that it doesn't make sense that then why would Malloy, if Malloy asked and Louis said it, why did Louis not say it before? And I think, me personally, it's because there's somebody in the room. There's somebody in the room because the next line, or the next thing is Rashid. Rashid, you're lingering. You're lingering, Rashid. Rashid wants to listen. So then it's the 6 months. 6 months. Again, Louis, you are showing me that you don't care. It's been 6 months since you showed up to the home. You can't go home for a dinner? You can't go... Okay. 6 months. This is one of the scenes, and we have to get into it because Rae Dawn Chong, amazing. And then we got Levy trying to be the surrogate son. Rae Dawn Chong, Mama Dulac does not like her son anymore because she believes that he is a devil. And, Louis, you're kind of showing her that you are. You want to keep up appearances? Do something about it. Maybe have a meal to sustain you. Then go to your, family home for a night and have dinner with your family. You're not going to kill him. And if you think you're going to kill him, why can't Lestat come around? Lestat's going to stop you. This is what I don't get. There's a lot of things I don't get because there's a lot of things I would have done differently. I would have done differently as a vampire. But anyway, who knows? But yeah, Rashid lingering. Oh, there's my little laugh. So, then we get, after this, the doors are kicked down. It's over. This is it. Mama calls you the devil. And you the devil. There he is. And it's sad. It's very sad. But, let's mix it up. So the next scene, of course, Lestat has brought nothing but soldiers back to the town home. He's having a great old time. It's nothing but dudes drinking, him on the piano. Me personally, I'm thinking, where are all the girls? But I don't need girls. He actually says it. Now that I know your type, I brought them for you. I was thinking, you could have a couple, or we could do this and I could do that. He says it in one line. I'm not gonna repeat it. Watch the show, please. I'm trying to keep this somewhat rated G. I don't know why, but hey, But Lestat admits that he's a lot. Lestat is sharing that he is a lot. You can tell that Louis mad. He knows that Louis mad. He hasn't heard anything about what happened yet. We actually don't see him ever tell Louis. So we don't see it. We don't know if it happened. We don't see, hey, in my world, if I don't see it, I don't know if it happens. But Lestat is sharing again, and he breaks down and says, yes, I was following you, and I hated the fact that, Jonah, and you... And he doesn't understand. Louis does not understand why he's so angry. Let me explain. Because I heard your hearts beating and dancing, and then you went out and ate a dog. Because instead of, literally, and it's the same thing that happened with Antoinette. You didn't eat him. You didn't eat Jonah, right? So you cared about him. You didn't eat him. You bit yourself. He gave me some face. That was it. No, there was more. There was more, guy. And yes, he's jealous. So what? Now, Louis was jealous already. Now Lestat's jealous. What does this tell us? That they both care about each other. But as vampires, they're so messed up. Again, these are not human characters, but they are very human beings. One of the greatest lines I've heard, I believe, I believe it was Jacob Anderson said it, that these are the most human monsters that you could find in literature. And yes, because their biological need is to feed on us. Yeah. So if this was a couple in real life and just humans, there's a lot of stuff here. Please go through a therapist. You can work this stuff out. You can work this stuff out, guy. Both, one of you is sharing, the other one isn't. There's a lot. There's a lot. I believe this is why in the original, I know in the books, Louis felt cheated at the fact that he had Lestat for a master. Maybe this is a reason. But there's the devil, and, the power went out at the Azalea. Power went out on the Azalea. They were drunk. Who was drunk? I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. So everybody's drunk. He pulls the trick. Everybody leaves. That was cool. And again, the fact that he couldn't eat Jonah. So then we go to Fenwick, and Fenwick's, this is not one of the scenes, even though it is a Fenwick scene. I got to see a clannish majority. So the city council's trying to shut you down. We got a clannish majority. Hey, listen, it's vampires. Hey, Louis. Why don't you eat some of the clan, guy? Why don't you eat some of the clan? I would eat some of the clan. If I was a vampire, the clan would probably be the first ones I come after. Here's the thing. I live in a very populated, I think I've said it before, one of the highest populated African American cities in America. And I love it here. I do. I love the food. I love the people. I don't understand. I understand how you could see color, of course, because everybody's different. I don't understand how you would hate different colors and races. I mean, there's so many things to learn. There's so many things to enjoy. There's so many... I don't understand. But, people, what are you going to do? In this, by the way, I love Lestat even more. I do. He doesn't care. But clannish majority. And then we take a black man in America, make him a vampire, mess with that vampire, and see what comes of it. What comes of it is you go after Fenwick. Why do you go after Fenwick, Louis? Again, this is a bad choice. You go after Fenwick when you could go after some other people. You know Fenwick. You can read his mind. You know when he's lying to you and all this. So what? You want revenge, guy. You want revenge. And you finally use your vampire powers to do so. And I think to myself, why not? And even Lestat at the end is like, he's so happy that you did this, even though now he questions, why did you hang him the way you did? Because now Louis is... again, hard on himself. They are taking out retribution on the black community. The Storyville he loves so much. And yes, Louis, it probably is a lot on you. It is. Not gonna sugarcoat it. Again, Louis as a character... I think he's not self-actualized. He's not defined. He was never defined and self-actualized as a person. And so there's a lot. And I guess it goes back to the original comment that the night that he was made, so much got rushed. And now we see what that comment really means. And it's that he can't self-actualize. He doesn't really know who he is. We've cut, by the way, to a couple of times. I think it was last episode where he says, I have not ate anyone since 2000. Again, I want to know who was the last person you ate. But this is the horrible part, man. Fenwick's we all know what Fenwick is. Your place in the world, Louis. I would have ate him right after that comment. And I would have enjoyed it. And then I would have just thrown him out in the swamp. Yeah. That's it. Lestat's very proud, even though he says, yeah, this is happening, and you care about your people, but look, this would have happened whether you did it or somebody else did it. But this is where Louis cuts Lestat, and I can't stand it, man, because we saw it in the scene with his own family. He himself, Louis, lashes out. And he lashes out Lestat, and he cuts him so deep with the comment of, this is why you're always going to be alone. basically saying, hey, I'm leaving, I'm gone, and this isn't working, and this and that. He's breaking up with him. Just with that comment, and it hurts so deep, and you can say, the camera isn't on Lestat, Sam Reed, for a while, but you can tell. If you understand the character, you can tell. Look, I'm not saying that Lestat is the good guy. Personally, I love this show because no one is the villain. That's the point. Even these monsters are not villains, not even to each other, because these are things that happen, because life is not what we expect it to be. And also, if we don't deal with our crap, it will never be what we would like it to be. Just gonna call it. Again, just water. Sober for 9 years. It's not the drinking. This is... yeah. But we end with Louis going into one of those houses. Even though fire can burn a vampire, he's absolutely going to save who he can. That turns out to be, we know who it is. It's Claudia, played by beautiful Bailey Bass. A couple more things, of course, on the episode for that, and Bailey... Claudia is a big element, big ingredient. A lot of big things happen. And we're going to find out. But, Fenwick's scene, I loved it. Because when Louis says, and he's so calm, I'll let you reload. I'll let you reload. Fenwick, you're already gone. You're gone. You don't know it, but you're gone. And there's something very pleasing about it. I'm sorry. There's something very pleasing. But that's all she wrote for episode number 3. We're on number 3. Thank you again for giving me your time. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for viewing. Please, please, please leave a comment. Please, if you could do anything, leave a comment. I have no comment. I am now into double-digit subscribers. Thank you very much. I have likes. I have views. I have hours. Thank you. But no comments. Please. Do you think that the vampire hair works? No? No? Should I cut it? I don't know. Do you like the soundboard? Do you like the fact that I'm doing it in the dark? I don't know. Please tell me. Once again, this is Raves and Rants with the Mad Fool. Again, hit that subscribe, like, leave a comment. Is right now the most important part. Thank you, witches, vampires, and humans of all ages.